I just had a great time for the last 3.5 months. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is exactly what I wanted to do in 2016 when I started doing Rank and Rent. I wanted to have a life where I made as much money as I could. I made millions of dollars, and I was able to do it from anywhere in the world. And I was able to do it dressed how I want, with the opinions that I have, when I want, how I want. If I wanted to sleep in, I could sleep in and do my work at night. If I wanted to do my work, in the morning and have the afternoon off, I could. If I didn't want to work, I didn't have to. The clients weren't going to tell me what to do. I had complete and total freedom and control over my schedule. And it's really just like, it's come to fruition. And it's funny because in 2016, when I got into my first program, the person that sold me in asked me that. They said, what are you looking for? Like, it looks like you make great money doing door-to-door sales. Why change it? It was a really good sales technique because it made me sell myself. But I told them, I was like, I want to be able to travel this world. I want to be able to see things. I want to be able, and at the time, 10 years ago, it wasn't as common to see people making money and traveling. Now it's kind of like everybody has some little side hustle, but it wasn't the case. But yeah, it's interesting because everywhere I go here, I get in an Uber or I meet somebody and I'm just here by myself. I have some business partners and some friends that I've made here, but I always get people asking me, they're like, yo, what do you do for work? They're just looking at me going, how are you so young and you're traveling? You just came from Africa. I explain to them what I do. They're like, that's so smart. I'm pitching this business model to every Uber driver that asks. Trust me, I'm spending all my time just pitching this business model. But guys, let me just mention a couple of things that this business model has allowed me to do. And I want you to remember that 4.5 short years ago, which to some of you guys, like, that's so long ago. It seems like yesterday. I was $60,000 in debt. I was making $8,000 to $10,000 top line. So I had 3 kids. I had 2 car payments. Nothing was paid off. I had a house payment on a shitty little house. It was a starter house. It was not that bad of a house, but it was like a concrete floor with a sticker on top. It was just this basic. The carpet was like a gunny sack. This is the life I was living. And I remember having these conversations with myself like, Nick, what'd you do? You should have just stayed with sales, bro. You should have just been a door-to-door salesman. You were making more money then, doing less work. What the hell are you doing? That was 4.5 years ago. By the way, wife at the time didn't know I had $60,000 in debt, was constantly on my case about taking vacations that we couldn't take, that I had to make stuff up. Oh, I gotta stay and do this and that, just because I felt stupid that I couldn't afford it. That was my life. And it sucked. You go to Disneyland, there's some people, they go and they enjoy the food, they eat the churros, they eat the chicken leg or the turkey leg, then all the whatever. And then you got the people, which I've been both, you sneak in the PB&J. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a time and a place, but like, it's a vastly different experience when you go and you just are like, I don't need to prepare. I'm just gonna, whatever I feel like, if it's the Mexican restaurant, if it's this, and you just get to go and enjoy it. So a couple things that I just want to remind you guys of as we get into this. Some of the things this business has allowed me to do. Number one, it's allowed me to get out of a $60,000 of credit card debt. I'm not talking about home debt, mortgage debt, because everyone that has a house typically has that. I'm talking about credit card debt. My payment on that was ridiculous. The interest I was paying was sickening. It was the house payment worth, right? $60,000 in debt. It's allowed me to buy 2 houses and 3 commercial properties. One of those commercial properties I am in a partnership with, so just so no one thinks I'm making shit up. The other 2 I own myself, but I'm in a partnership on one of those. It's a commercial one. I've been able to buy 2 of the cars that I've always wanted to buy. I bought a G-Wagon brand new. I bought a Lamborghini Huracan. My wife has bought I don't know how many cars, whatever. I have 2 cars in Africa. Everything is cash. All these cars are paid for with cash. I have 0 debt on cars. I was able to buy my dad a Rolex just because. It wasn't because it was his birthday. It wasn't because he did this or that, because I just wanted to buy him a Rolex because I knew he would never buy one for himself. I've been able to buy some nice designer bags and some nice stuff for my mom because I knew she never would. She didn't even know what Louis Vuitton was until I gave it to her. I remember when Jules, I gave her this Louis Vuitton bag and she's like, oh, this is nice. And she had no idea what it cost or anything. She just like, this is really nice, She was just like confused why the box was so nice, that orange box. I'm from the village, bro. My mom named the bag Louis. So, she's so pumped about this bag. It allows me to live, this business it allows me to live. The last 2 years, I've spent over 1/3 of the year living abroad, 3 months in Africa, and then traveling at least 4 to 6 weeks on top of that. So I'm 4 to 4.5 months traveling or living abroad. This business allowed me to do this. It's allowed me to take my in-laws on an all expenses trip. I paid for everything. Again, I know they're not on this call, or I would never say this. I don't want them to feel bad, but I was able to take them, pay for everything: food, airline, hotel, every single thing. I've been able to invest in 2 different companies. I own a percentage of 2 different companies I've invested in. I've been able to invest in a syndicate on an apartment complex. I've been able to help multiple friends start businesses where I don't even know if I'm going to get the money back, but I wanted to help them. And it's allowed me to give a ton of money to charity, which I would never even mention what the amount is or what I've done in those categories, but but it's something that I wanted to do. Guys, what this model has allowed me to do, it's opened the entire world to me. 5 years ago, I was making decisions based on price. I was looking at the airline, not when I could go, but when it was the cheapest. Looking at the menu, like what's the cheapest thing? It's crazy, right? It seems crazy. And some of you guys are in that position right now. I remember looking at the peanut butter. Should you buy the Skiff, the Jiffy, or should you buy the freaking shit brand? These are the things that I was dealing with 5 years ago. And I'm telling you this, like, I know that I come across sometimes arrogant, and I am a little bit, but I'm actually not telling you these things to like beat my chest. I don't feel like I'm the big fish. I feel like I'm just getting started. But what I want you guys to see is like, it's literally changed my life. It's allowed me to do whatever I want to do and move when I want to move. And if I want to extend in London a week, I don't care what the hotel costs. I don't care what day I'm leaving. I want to leave on this day. I'm going to leave on this day, regardless of the cost of the ticket. That's how I've been able to live my life. And it's all been because of this model.